We live in stressful times. Today, now more than usual. Some people like to relax and forget about what's going on in the world, whether it be video games, Facebook, drinking a beer, or smoking weed. Now, marijuana isn't legally federalized just yet, but in some states it is, and I'd like to look at some of the pros to having it legalized. And some of those pros could be the jobs it creates, the economy through taxes, as well as the medical benefits to marijuana. The first thing I'm going to start with is going to be the jobs that it creates. Now, you might be thinking, how is legalizing marijuana going to actually create jobs when everybody's going to be failing the drug tests? Well, I'll get to that portion, but the jobs that it can create is a large amount. Thinking about the farmers who own the land that it's growing on, to to the people who are behind the counter selling it at dispensaries, as well as thinking of the temporary jobs that it creates, such as construction workers, electricians, and plumbers who have to build the greenhouses. Um, According to AmericanExpress.org, approximately 18,000 jobs have been created since legalization in Oregon alone in 2014. All these jobs that are created are a vital source of income for some of these families, and if Measure 91, the measure that legalized marijuana in Oregon, if that was reversed, it would put a lot of people out of a job and probably on unemployment for a little bit until they found a job, which that would kind of hurt the economy at this point. With the legalization of marijuana, though, in some of the states, the companies that have in those states have eased back on the testing of THC, which is tetrahydrocannabinol, which is what they usually test for when doing a urine test to find out whether or not you smoke marijuana or not. And as mentioned on Forbes.com, Maine and Nevada, those two states actually they cannot fire their employees for recreational use of marijuana. However, in all states, if you come to work and you're high or you're drunk, coming to work impaired, they can fire you on the spot, and that's pretty universal. And I agree with that. That makes sense. Um, but with all these jobs, how does this actually help the economy? Well, by doing what America is pretty well known for, and that's taxing the heck out of everything. BizJournals.com says that in 2019 alone, Oregon 2019, made $800 million in sales on marijuana and marijuana related products. That's a ton. Now, I wanted to look at how much was taxed and where did that money go? So I went to Oregon.gov and looked at Measure 91. Um, well, they can tax it from 17 to 20%. The 3% is a wiggle room based off of the actual company itself, but minimum 17%, maximum 20%. So minimum 17% of 800 million, that's over $100 million. Where does that 100 million go though? Continuing reading on Oregon.gov and into Measure 91, and it breaks it down where all that money goes. 40% go to the Common School Fund, 20% go to mental health, alcoholism, drug services, 15% go to state police, 10% go to cities who enforce the law, 10% go to counties who enforce the law, and 5% go to Oregon Health Authority for alcohol and drug abuse prevention. Now that's a lot of dough, but that's not all just recreational, that's medical as well. Which brings me to my next topic, the medical benefits of marijuana. Medical marijuana is actually really what kicked off the whole legalization process to begin with. Uh, However, further testing is kind of hard because the DEA, or the Drug Enforcement Agency, they consider marijuana a Schedule 1 drug, which actually puts it in the same category as LSD and heroin, which I don't personally think it should belong in this category. They should reclassify it, but I don't work for the DEA, so I can't make that call. WebMD has some of the known illnesses that can be treated through marijuana use, and some of these illnesses are, but not limited to, because of the testing, um, Alzheimer's, appetite loss, various forms of cancer, Crohn's disease, eating disorder, epilepsy, glaucoma, mental health conditions like schizophrenia and PTSD. Now, myself being a veteran, I have veteran friends who actually do have PTSD, and once they got out, they were able to smoke, and they said it helped them a ton. So I can vouch for that portion. Multiple sclerosis, muscle spasms, nausea, pain, and wasting syndrome. The use of medical marijuana is legal in 44 states, and recreational is legal in 11 of those said 44 states. Here is a map of those states. The ones in dark green are the ones that legalized it for medical and recreational, and the light green are medical only. Um, Also, a fun fact about medical marijuana is that it was legalized first in 1996 in California. Um, However, there are still some people that like to cling to the negatives of marijuana use, and one of the big things that comes to mind is driving while impaired. And yeah, that's really bad, but it's honestly in the hands of the user. So, uh, look, I wanted to see how bad it actually was. So on Oregon.gov, they had a document on there from 2014 to 2015. 2014 was the year that Measure 91 passed and legalized marijuana. In 2015, the number of fatal crashes from THC use had actually gone down instead of up after legalization, which is kind of shocking. But comparing it to, on that same document, comparing it to the amount of drunk drivers, the amount of drunk drivers was like 8 times higher on the fatal car crashes than it was from THC. So that was pretty eye-opening to me. Um, some people still like to cling to it that it's a bad thing, but I mean, there's tons of benefits to actually having it legalized, such as the jobs that it creates, how it helps the economy through the taxes, and the medical benefits. Um, I really would like to encourage you all to go and vote whenever you can about this issue and vote positively for it. Vote pro marijuana because of all the benefits that it could possibly have on the economy, jobs, and medical uses. So, thank you for your time and consideration, and have a nice day.